Perhaps tomorrow I could borrow a horse and have a look around. Such an odd feeling. Driving up to the house, Seacombe standing by the door to welcome me. I've done it so many times in my imagination. The clock struck the hour as we drove up. I even seemed to recognize the sound of the bell.
No, I'm not tired. I'm really not.
Will you please stop being so polite and get up and go to bed?
Of course. Sorry. Sorry.
Good night.
So what attracted you to the film when it was kind of presented to you?
I like a gothic movie. I like the gothic genre. I like suspense and mystery and intrigue, and I like plots that are open to interpretation. I like the romance, the love story, and the whole idea of did she or didn't she? Is she a murderess and a manipulator and a femme fatale, or is she just an innocent victim of 19th century misogyny? I guess.
For me, there's sort of three things that are a must. Not a must, but as long as you have two of them, you're good to go on a job. For me, one is a good script, good story. Another one is good filmmakers. Another one is a good cast. I was fortunate enough to have all three on this, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me. One thing I've always said to myself, I think my dad told me, he's so not part of the business, but he said, would you go and see the film yourself? That's an easy way to work out whether or not I'm going to enjoy doing it. And if it is a film that I would watch, then yeah, absolutely jump in both feet first. And so yeah, this is again one of those ones. So.
Well, I was aware of Daphne du Maurier, and I loved the adaptations of the previous adaptations of her novels, like Rebecca and The Birds and Don't Look Now. And I had also loved Roger Michel's work, and I'd heard amazing things from friends that worked with him, and then I read the script, and it was just dark and interesting and real, and the kind of the sort of the world of this movie felt very tangible, and all the characters felt like they had their own kind of depth and realism, and so nothing was kind of compromised for the plot. It's like the plot feels like it comes out of the characterizations.
Yeah, very much likewise. I didn't know du Maurier's work so well, but so I treated it just as a screenplay when I read it. It's the sort of screenplay you want to read as an actor. It's just a lovely scene by scene. It's very, very intriguing. It's just very easy, natural dialogue, and it complicates as it evolves. So and it's a real actor's piece. There's not huge amounts of action. The odd horse falling off a cliff, but other than that, it's what the actors get up to that make the film or don't. So just a lovely script.
What attracted you to this story?
Well, I didn't know anything about it. I knew about Daphne du Maurier because she's written stuff that's been adapted. She wrote Rebecca. She wrote the story on which The Birds is based. She wrote the story on which Don't Look Now is based. And there's obviously an earlier film of this that was written a year after it was published. So I just got it out of my bookshelf thinking it's just some sort of chick lit from the 50s, sort of quite middle brow, and it will be a fun read. In fact, it was my mother's copy, so I thought, oh, my mum liked this kind of thing, what's it like? And I was amazed very quickly to discover that it was really gripping, and it wasn't just chick lit, it was serious and dark and suspenseful and brilliantly plotted. It's like a sort of switchback ride of intrigue and suspense and thrills. I thought, great, I'd like to have a go at this.
How did you find working with Sam? Because it's very, very intense, kind of two-hander for most of it.
Yeah, I mean, for a story that's about suspense and trust and betrayal and possibly murder, in the performance had to be, as you say, very intense and highly concentrated and quite subtle. But in reality, he's just a very easygoing guy, very unpretentious. I immediately felt I could really trust him as an actor. And it's sort of like playing a really good game of tennis. I actually don't play tennis, but this is in my dreams. This is why I imagine that you can, hit the ball really hard to someone and they're going to get it back to you. He's a great sort of dance partner.
How was it working with Rachel? Because obviously you must have grown up watching her on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with her when she was in The Mummy. Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of hers for a long, long time, and having the opportunity to work with someone who has been in the industry for a while and kind of really understands it and really understands how to approach a character in a script. And, I learned a lot. Like, she really pushed me. She's very generous as an actress and as a person, but like as an actress, she really kind of helps kind of keep the mystery alive for me. Like, she should constantly change it up slightly, subtle differences in her performance each take, and kind of kept me on my toes. So I'm grateful to her, and it's no secret. I basically fell in love with her whilst we were filming. Like, she's very magical to watch.
I started to think about casting when I'd finished the first draft of the screenplay. So I tend to be very compartmentalised in the order of things, so that until the script was done and I was happy with the script and the script was kind of come alive for me, I found it hard to start to think about who I might cast in it. So pretty much straight after that.
And what was it about both of them that made you think of them?
Well, their genders seemed a good start, and Rachel is called Rachel, so that was a big help and a big clue. And they're just so appropriate to the roles. I mean, Rachel is the right age, she's got the right look, she looks like exotic and from Italy, and she has a kind of otherness about her. And she's a brilliant actress, but she also has this sort of slightly guarded, mysterious otherness about her, something closed, something not quite revealed, which is super duper for this particular role. And Sam is young and boisterous and quintessentially English, a sort of absolute Juve lead, but at the same time he's got to be impetuous, he's got to be a bit bombastic, he's got to then turn into a kind of addict, a junkie really, who's become a bit over obsessive. He sort of turns into a stalker actually. So that takes a lot of acting chops, and he's a really superb actor.
How was working with Roger?
A treat, really. He's one of these rare. There's not so many of them that have been as successful and accomplished as Roger's in both theatre and film, and that's what makes him so confident with actors. He's very, when you've done as much theatre as Roger has, you get very used to working with actors and working on scripts and structuring roles. And it's not an uncommon failing for directors to be very sure-footed when it comes to where they're going to put the camera and how they might edit it together, but they're less confident necessarily with actors, or feel like, well, you sort of must know what you're doing, so I'll leave you alone. But it's really lovely to have someone behind the lens who you trust and the taste of. And Roger's been a kind of mate for a while. I've known him for 15 years socially as a friend, and we've had a couple of near misses, so I was really glad to have the chance to work with him.
He's someone I've wanted to work with for a long time. I'm a big fan of his, and I think he did a really wonderful adaptation of the novel, kept a lot of the modernity and the edginess over this book that was written in the 1950s but set 100 years earlier. And I think he's made a really beautiful period piece, but he's kept a sort of provocative modern edge in it. The
fact that he'd adapted the novel into this amazing script was an immediate kind of sign of someone's genius. But truly, he sort of allows you as an actor to kind of feel like you find things for yourself. He guides you in such a way that he gets his vision, but allows you to think that you're great. He allows you to think that you sort of found it yourself. And he sort of makes it a very collaborative, very playful and free, comfortable working environment. So you couldn't ask for more, really.
The period detail, as you say, it's pretty fantastic. How did you find with all the costumes and that? Because there's some pretty great outfits,
Yeah, I mean, you put on a corset and a big petticoat and a skirt, and you get restrained, and it makes you formal and contained in a way that's really suitable, I think, for 19th century behaviour. There's horses that you ride side saddle, no telephones, letters, carriages. Everything takes a long time. No electricity, candlelight. So it's very atmospheric.
You're completely infatuated with her. You realize you could lose everything.